The business world is a landscape made of extreme highs and lows. Even some of the most powerful companies in the world have faced major setbacks and seemingly insurmountable obstacles throughout their history. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Here at Context TV, we're taking a deep dive into some of the greatest comebacks the business world has ever seen, and examining just how the companies in question pulled them off, in order to highlight lessons from which every entrepreneur, big or small, can learn. Today's subject: Best Buy. In 1983, a modest chain of audio stores, Sound of Music, changed its name to Best Buy Superstores, expanding its product offerings to include a variety of consumer electronics, including appliances and VCRs. Over the next decade, the brand would continue to refine its identity as a business. Changes included shifting away from a warehouse design model to more customer-friendly stores and getting rid of a commission-based employee payment model in order to foster best customer service. Though this may seem like the norm today, at the time, Best Buy was bucking the trends of the time. Clearly, they were onto something, as these Concept 2 stores ushered greater profits than ever. By 1992, the company was doing over $1 billion in yearly revenue. Rather than growing complacent, however, Best Buy continued to innovate, always with a focus on customer experience. Sure enough, with Concept 3 and Concept 4 stores, the business was repeatedly rewarded with increased growth. By the end of the decade, revenue had increased tenfold. Best Buy entered the new millennium with seemingly nothing but good things on the horizon. They had become a veritable juggernaut in the industry, and so, like so many companies of their size, they expanded their empire by establishing or acquiring various other entities, including Magnolia Hi-Fi, Musicland Stores, Future Shop, and Geek Squad. While most of these were solid investments, Musicland ultimately cost them big, with Best Buy selling off the brand and its debt in 2003, making it their worst fiscal year. But the aughts nonetheless saw Best Buy largely going from one success to another. In 2004, it was named Forbes Company of the Year and reported unprecedented fiscal success. This narrative is one that any business, large or small, would do wise to remember. Growth requires calculated risk. So long as you don't put all your eggs in one basket or overextend yourself, mistakes needn't yield terminal results. You diagnose the problem, fix it, and move on. The simple fact of the matter is, for many years, Best Buy was operating in an era of growth and development in consumer tech. Video games, computers, home theater systems, televisions, laptops, portable music devices, home media. These were all highly in-demand products that consumers couldn't get enough of. And Best Buy had perfectly positioned itself to capitalize on these consumer habits. As the industry leader that people trusted, they seemed to have an untouchable lead. But then a few things happened to cut the legs out from under them. There was a shift towards digital media, the Great Recession of 2008, and, most damaging, the rise of an unexpected, game-changing competitor, Amazon. By 2012, Best Buy was the last big box electronic chain of its kind. This meant they had a monopoly, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that that made them immortal. But in reality, they themselves weren't the only thing that had driven the competition out of business. It was also the changing era. And that wave of change had finally caught up to Best Buy. Within a single quarter, they saw roughly a 90% decrease in profits. In the final quarter of 2012, they posted a loss of $1.7 billion. Their empire had been in a state of near constant expansion for decades, and now, for the first time, they were closing stores, about 50 of them. In 2008, Best Buy had tried to combat the rise of piracy and get ahead of the digital music transition with the acquisition of Napster. But how many people do you know who used Napster once it became a paid music service? Yeah, suffice to say, That was $121 million down the drain. It was around this time that the Great Recession hit, and for the first time in then recent memory, consumers were dialing back their spending, re-evaluating just how necessary consumer electronics actually were in their lives. Perhaps the TV they had was fine. On second thought, maybe their nascent Blu-ray collection could wait. Best Buy had created an infrastructure with substantial overhead, one that was dependent upon mass consumption, and suddenly, people weren't spending like they used to. Though the above factors hurt, the blow that by all means should have killed them was Amazon. The company began as an upstart online bookstore in Seattle. It was soon posing a threat to major brick-and-mortar chains. In 1998, it started offering music. In 1999, it introduced the third-party marketplace, opening up a world of possibility in terms of what people could buy on their site. Soon enough, Amazon was an online megastore, where customers could buy pretty much anything without leaving the comforts of their home. Then in 2005, they introduced 2-day free shipping with Amazon Prime, a seed that would grow into something larger than anyone could imagine. By 2008, Best Buy was in trouble. Add to that Amazon Basics in 2009, the company's branded line of dirt cheap electronics, and their price-matching app introduced in 2010, and Amazon was essentially closing in on Best Buy from all sides. By 2012, Best Buy could no longer keep up with the prices or convenience of Amazon. Once known for its commitment to innovation, Best Buy had been transformed into a dinosaur despite itself. It was time to evolve or die. Of course, when it rains, it pours, and in 2012, amidst all the financial turmoil and store closures, Best Buy CEO Brian Dunn, following a personal scandal, resigned. Making matters worse, founder Richard Schultz also resigned as chairman. This was a major blow to morale, and at this point in time, that was something already in rather short supply. Nobody would have blamed the company had it chosen to call it quits. In fact, many news outlets were predicting that bankruptcy was inevitable. But the company found a renewed sense of vigor via an unlikely hero, new CEO Hubert Joly, an outsider who had proven himself as president and CEO of hospitality company Carlson. To say that he corrected course is an understatement. Best Buy was flatlining, and he was a human defibrillator. Joly put an end to infighting on the board, as well as a takeover attempt by then-founder and ex-chairman Richard Schultz, by proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that he was the best thing for the company. How? By doing what business leader or entrepreneur, large or small, should be prepared to do in dire times. Identify what's broken and doing whatever is necessary to fix it. His strategy was named Renew Blue. The first thing he did was cut the fat. He implemented a plan to cut $1.4 billion in costs by selling off assets overseas. Growth, expansion, and diversification is pointless if a company's foundation is failing. He did away with various costly sponsorships, downsized the company in terms of office space, and more. Of course, these measures only served to slow the decline. What really made Joly such a breath of fresh air was his commitment to improving company spirit. He went and worked in a Best Buy store for a week. It was a move that inspired all employees, from entry-level positions to members of the board. He saw that salespeople had grown jaded and disenfranchised under the weight of cost-cutting measures. Recognizing that their job satisfaction was crucial to profits, he brought back their employee discount. When your business runs on customer service, the happiness of your staff needs to be top priority. Joly also saw that, though it might diminish profits sale by sale, the company simply had no choice but to price match with Amazon. Yes, it would hurt, but to not do so was to forfeit competition altogether. Joly recognized that they had to match Amazon wherever they could, accept that they couldn't compete on every front, and most importantly, capitalize on the one major advantage that they did have: physical locations. At the end of the day, people still like seeing a product like a television before they buy it. And if you also price match, they'll buy it from you. And so he diversified what they showcased in their locations with stores in a store for brands like Apple, Samsung, and Microsoft. He even managed to get Google and Amazon products. Yes, the very same company that arguably nearly killed Best Buy. Jolie changed the way Best Buy thought about Amazon. Yes, they shared the same market, but there were ways for them to complement one another. They could coexist, and Best Buy could thrive by working around and with them. Around the same time, under Jolie's guidance, the company's website and app were also updated, modernized, and streamlined. Though Best Buy's physical stores were its greatest selling point, their website similarly needed to be brought up to date with the digital age, and they needed shipping options to match. The store within a store model was brilliant because it not only kept customers interested by letting them get close and personal with the pricey items they were considering, but it turned various brands, including online competitors, into business-to-business clients by renting out space to them. It's a valuable lesson in outside-the-box thinking that any entrepreneur can learn from. When faced with more powerful competition, pivot and do something to distinguish yourself. Driven by the same principles and philosophies that led Best Buy to double down on their in-store experience, the company also spearheaded a new initiative of sending in-home advisors to help customers set out their various devices. While Geek Squad can install your TV or home theater system, these specialists, with their free in-home consultations, can introduce potential customers to an entire ecosystem of products and smart devices, helping homeowners fully embrace the opportunities of the modern technological times. They'll help figure out a customer's specific needs and come up with a plan and proposal that truly suits them, and then send in the Geek Squad to complete the task. In this era of online ordering and chat-based customer service, Best Buy stands out, both in-store and through programs like this, by offering a personal touch that's increasingly lacking in the retail space. And that's why they're thriving years after their predicted demise. Best Buy may be a massive entity, but the mistakes their company made are ones that any entrepreneur or business owner can learn from, whether just starting out or trying to adapt in an increasingly competitive or ever-changing market. They stagnated and began following trends rather than leading them. They prioritized profits over employee and customer satisfaction. By the same token, the steps taken by Jolie to right the sinking ship that was Best Buy can equally be distilled and scaled to apply to just about any business endeavor. As Best Buy learned, it's not good enough to do what everyone else is doing, especially when a competitor has the infrastructure to do it better. In order to not only survive but thrive, you need to identify what it is you can offer that the competition can't. In Best Buy's case, it was the personalized experience, with a space for people to interact with products before they bought them. Products come and go, and consumer habits might change, but quality customer service never goes out of fashion. Check out these other great clips from Context TV and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.